What's going on, everybody? My name is AJ Capasso. I'm the guest host. I forgot to talk to you, Dylan, before we started, so please start your podcast the right way, brother.
No, it's all good, brother. Hey, what's up, everybody? Dylan Robinson here, Halfway Paranormal, main host of the show. Great buddy here, AJ, my co-host here. Got a great show for you here tonight.
Awesome, awesome, man. So, how you been?
Man, just working every day, living the life, just
Living
trying
the
to
dream.
trying to take it day by day. It ain't now when you say dream, I'm thinking like whenever somebody says that, I'm thinking Freddy Krueger type dreams. I'm not thinking like
Listen,
the greatest dream in the world.
listen, someone says it to me. I said, yeah, it's somebody's dream. It ain't mine, though.
Absolutely.
you know? But anyway, so I want to show some clips today, man. About we wanted to talk about the Bible, and we want to talk the difference between the Anunnaki, text that's in the Sumerian tablets compared to the Bible, and why we believe in the Bible, but we don't believe in written stone tablets that were done thousands of years before the Bible. So I want to show some things on the Anunnaki from TikTok. That's what we're going to do right now. And I want to see if we can get some of the stories from there, from the actual tablets called the Epic of Gilgamesh, which I believe talks about like the Noah's Ark story. But there's other tablets of Sumerian tablets, and then it goes into Egyptian, and it goes into all different types of stuff, which is pretty cool. But a person to check out would be Billy Carson, Forbidden Knowledge. He's on YouTube. He speaks all the time. He's on TikTok everywhere. He's an amazing person to have all the info on ancient things, and we're trying to get him on the show. So, but here, let me share my screen real quick. Once it comes back here. Here we
What's
go.
going on, Robbie?
Hey, buddy, how are you, man? Thanks for so much for coming in, Robbie. Hold on, I'm just sharing my screen, brother. So go ahead and feel free to tell me what your opinion is, dude. What is your belief, man? Like, are you a Christian? What is what's your background?
Well, I'll tell you, I was raised up in a house where my dad, he cursed like a sailor. He's a great guy, but he cursed like a sailor. He had so many things he could say. Where on the other hand, my mother was a very, very, very Christian woman, and like she believed 100% in the Bible, as do I. To me, I believe that everything in the Bible is true, and why I say that is I was taught up the proper way. I mean, there's always a proper way for everybody, but I was raised with the good book and everything in it being true and legit. I just actually went to church Sunday with Robbie there. Had a great
Awesome.
service. Enjoyed it. I haven't been to church in probably about 7 years. I figured it was time to go back.
Yep.
Great service. I mean, I'll tell you, my beliefs on it is to me, the Bible's 100% real. Now, I don't know nothing about these ancient texts, these things before the Bible. I know nothing about them, but I'm pretty sure after tonight, I'll still believe 100% in the Bible.
Hey,
Um,
that's not the point. The point of this is not to try and convert or say that the Bible isn't real. That's not what this whole point is. The point is that why do we look at certain ancient texts and we say that this is important, but we don't look at stone tablets that are actually written in stone, not on papyrus, whatever well, papyrus is what they call it. I'm sorry. That type of paper. And it's like, why do we believe just that? Why don't we believe anything ancienter? But let me show the first clip here, and we'll see what it is, and hopefully, we can check something out. So here it is.
let's do it.
Have you ever heard of the Anunnaki? These ancient beings from Mesopotamian mythology have been the subject of much fascination and debate in recent years. But what if I told you that some people believe the Anunnaki were real and may have actually played a role in human history? According to this theory, the Anunnaki were a group of extraterrestrial beings who came to Earth thousands of years ago. They were said to be highly advanced, possessing knowledge and technology far beyond anything humans of that time could comprehend. But what did they want with us? Some believe that the Anunnaki were responsible for creating humanity, using genetic engineering to create a hybrid race of humans and their own species. Others believe they simply visited Earth to mine for resources, and may have even taught ancient civilizations like the Sumerians advanced techniques like agriculture and metalworking. While there is no concrete evidence to support the existence of the Anunnaki, their legend has persisted for centuries. Whether they were real or simply a myth, their story continues to captivate and inspire those who seek to understand the mysteries of our past. Have you ever heard of the Anunnaki?
Hold on
These ancient
1
beings.
second. There we go. Okay, so basically what it just said there is Mesopotamian religion also states about this Anunnaki and about the tablets. But if you notice, this wasn't about Sumerian. This was about the Mesopotamian gods and stuff like that. As you see like I believe that's the one of the Aztec pyramids there, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe
Right.
so. And basically what ended up happening is Thoth from the Egyptian religion, who is really one of the Sumerian gods who spread out around the world, he basically um went to all these different places spreading this knowledge. Now the Anunnaki are technically considered fallen angels in the Bible because these Anunnaki were not supposed to come here and genetically modify and make us from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens and have a conscious sentient being. But they say that in Sumerian tablets, like it's just said here, that they used us to mine gold and they genetically engineered us. And what's crazy is in the tablets, it talks about them putting caps on our telomeres of our DNA to stop us from living till a certain age. And it's 120 years, it says in the tablets. What's funny is science has actually found out that in pristine conditions, the body of us can only last 120 years. Now, we've been working on anti aging and we've come a long way. So, there might be a way to extend longer than that. But if you think about it, I have never been able to find someone that's older than that. And if I do, I'm very shocked if I do find it. I mean, there's people that say they are, but I don't totally believe it. What do you think, man?
I mean, to tell you the truth, for starters, I wouldn't want to live past 100. I don't even know if I want to live to be 100 because at that point, you'll just be so old, it'll be hard for you to move around, do things. Now, I get there's people up there in age in their hundreds that look like they're 80 or 90. They're healthy, they move around, they don't have no problems other than, like aching body and stuff like that. But
Yep.
as for this, I mean, that's really interesting. I haven't heard the theory of where they said that we can only live up to 120 years, and now they're proving that the body can only live up to 120 years, which
Check
that brings
check
up.
this out. Check this out. They found the telomere caps on our DNAs, and they don't know where it came from because it's actually a synthetic material, they believe. They don't believe that it's actually a natural phenomenon. How crazy is that? And then on top of it, we have things called junk DNA. Now, the junk DNA, the scientists don't know what they're from, like where it came from, what's the source of it, like they do with all the other DNA that they deal with. But how crazy to think about this ancient text, thousands of years before the Bible, is stating things that science are even doing, just like how the Bible does. And watch, I'm going to show you something about Jesus right now. I believe from Billy Carson. This is the guy I'm talking about. I believe this is one of the videos that I was thinking about, but it's about Jesus. Check this out.
Jesus was Yeshua. That was his name, Yeshua. This was a real person that existed. Some people are like, oh, he was just an imaginary person. No, no, no. There's a lot of evidence that he actually existed. He lived, he breathed, he had blood in his veins. He was a walking man, M-A-N. It wasn't some type of a flying guy with wings on his back. He was a man. He came through a womb. He was just interesting, though. There was a little something different about this guy. The fact that he was a virgin birth, but when I looked deeper into see, well, maybe this was a mistake or maybe it was a mistranslation, I found through the Apocrypha text that his grandmother was also a virgin birth. Now, this is really interesting. So we see this established bloodline here where through the grandmother comes his mother, and then through his mother comes him, both through in vitro fertilization. This is advanced technology. Someone purposefully did this. Jesus was Yeshua. That was his name, Yeshua.
What did you think of what he just said about the Apocryphy text and what it said? Okay, that's one of the texts that is very, very old. Okay, and if you need me to, I could look up the text for you to tell you what it is, but I won't get all into that deepness. But what did you think about what he just said, Dylan? Because that's pretty crazy. And there's a lot more about Jesus. But this is Billy Carson, who I want to have on our show because he has so much knowledge based in this aspect. Oh, and I can't hear you, brother. Can you talk?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now. You're on mute.
Sweet,
So what do you
sweet.
think about this?
Well, like I said, he definitely seems like he's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to this. Um, and he made a few good points. I mean, he mentioned how he was a real person, which he was. He was
Yep.
100% a real person, born same way everybody else is, things like that. But he brought up that point about that, and to be honest, I don't think I've heard anybody mention how, like, he mentioned how they thought he had wings and stuff like that. I don't think I've ever heard anything like that. I've heard how he
No,
was
he was
born.
making he was making a sarcastic joke, like, because people make him out to be this like mysterious person with these abilities to be able to change water into wine and all this type of stuff like that. Like, if you like watch, I'll show you another all stuff like this, like a little bit about what Billy Carson talks deeper about Jesus and how Jesus, okay, in the Bible, it only talks about him up to 12 years old, and then when he comes back when he's, I believe, 33, and that's when he gets or 32, and then that's when he gets crucified at 33. So, like, what I'm trying to say is that there, what happened between those from 12 to this, and what it's actually stated is that in Egypt there's actually a place of where Jesus stayed that they actually call one of the homes of Jesus in Egypt. And it's just so wild to put all of these things together, these ancient texts, and it goes to show that, the people that put the Bible together, like say King James and all these people, they did it not to do it out of the greatness of their heart or because God told them to do it. Like maybe the apostles, okay, because the apostles truly believed in Jesus. But what I'm saying is the Old Testament and all the whole Bible that was put together years after Jesus was gone, over 100 years after, almost, I believe, or 30 to 90. And I'm like, why would they do that? And it's, I believe, money. I believe to scare the people into not leaving the faith, because if it did, it would let the church fall. And at the time, the church was so powerful. But what do you think before I play this next video?
I mean, that to me that's a possibility, but I'm also more leaning towards. I believe it's how people made it out to be, is like the Bible was made by him. I get all these ancient texts and everything like that. Um, to me, it seems more the lines of, I haven't heard anything different other than this, but it seems more in the lines to, he wrote the book, he left it here for us. Um, you mentioned how you think they might have done it for money, how you think they might have done it to keep the faith in the church, keep the churches going because they were so powerful, which
Yeah,
that would make sense too, because at that time, with the churches being as powerful as they wouldn't want anybody to steer from the churches and then cause them to fall,
yeah.
basically.
No,
But
you're absolutely right.
yeah, but I still, so far, I mean, there's been a few good theories here so far, and I mean, like, I think, I believe it was left here for us to read and for us to learn off of and live how we want to live with how it is in there. I mean, that's what I'm thinking about it. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are very widespread. I was brought up a Christian. I gave my life to Christ when I was actually 16, like fully. And I was really, really into it, like hardcore, man. And I've witnessed a lot of miracles from hands on people touching, putting hands on someone and healing them through their energy. Like I've witnessed a lot of great stuff from God. But I believe that God has been distorted through these ancient texts by the religious leaders due to a corrupt system. And look at the Vatican, how corrupt the Vatican is. You know what I mean? Like all the scandals with the priest, and all they do is just hate them to do it all over again. I mean, and then call it rehabilitation. Like, I mean, it's just not right in my opinion. But let me show this next one. Okay, this is Billy Carson talking about the Bible, and I know this one may be a little, um, like a little maybe controversial. But let's listen.
The word God in the Bible, for example, is mistranslated. There should be an S on the end of every word that says God, singular, should be plural. If you go back and really analyze the translation of the word God, it should be gods everywhere. It took off the S to usher in monotheism, the monotheistic mindset of a one God religion, but it really is God's. And even God slips up a few times in that book. Whoever wrote it says, there'll be no other gods but me. I'm a jealous God. That comes from Amen Ra, aka Marduk, from ancient Kemet. That really doesn't come from the creator of the universe. In the book of Deuteronomy, all these wars that are happening and occurring, and God is sending people halfway around their region to kill, murder, and torture other people because he says, one person over here doesn't believe in me, and I want you to kill the women, kill the children, kill babies. It even says you can take the virgins as wives, now you have abduction, and then bring the spoils back to me. Well, why does God need spoils? You see? So you can tell this is all man-based. This is not God, real heavenly based. It's a way to mentally enslave the masses of people, and it's worked phenomenally. Because if you look at religion, just Christianity alone generates more money in 1 year than all the Silicon Valley corporations, tech corporations combined.
So, what did you think of that one, man? Because that's a controversial thing to say.
That's definitely 100% controversial. Like there could be so many theories on that, so many people starting arguments over something like that. Just from like so many arguments could start just from the two words God and gods. Like
Exactly. But you know what? In the Bible, he's right. It does say, do not worship any other gods besides me. And what's funny is if you look in the ancient texts of Egypt, Amen Ra, okay, the reason why, did you ever know the reason why we say Amen? Well, it goes back so anciently to Egyptian times where Amen Ra stated that everyone had to say Amen to basically worship him. Okay, even though in the Hebrew text and in the Greek text, the Hebrew and I mean Arabic text or Arabic text states that the words mean "so be it." You know, as you're gonna say it, like declare it in the name of God at the end. But the ancient text states that Amen Ra was actually the reason why that we say the word Amen is because it was a worship thing that he ordered and ushered in, is what's something that Billy Carson talks about. But what was your opinion on that, man? Like, that's pretty intense, huh?
Word
that,
God
that,
in the
that is, it is pretty intense. I mean, you mentioned the fact of uh, him talking about in the Bible. It says, "Don't worship any other gods but me."
Yeah.
See, to me, what I think that could be is it could be controversial itself. To me, what
Yeah.
I think it could be is say we got a random person out here and they worship this other guy just because of how he lives his life and things like that. I don't necessarily think he's speaking that there is other gods. I think he's speaking as what a person would make to think that would be their god. Like it could just be a random person
No.
and they say that it's their god or something,
No.
you know?
Yeah. Even yourself, you can consider a god. Like people consider that they can literally worship themselves as a god, and that's something that's scary to think about because like greed and jealousy and everything take over this world sometimes. But, it's a controversial thing because the ancient texts line up with it. So it's like, I believed in the Bible because of the ancient text, but I believe that the stories have been mistranslated and altered to fit a narrative for the religional aspects, is all I'm trying to get at. But let's watch this next one. This is about the Anunnaki being fallen angels, which the reason why it says it in the ancient text is because they knew that they were going to get in trouble for genetically modifying us and making us into the sentient beings that we are. And it says in the ancient text that the creator, they're going to get in trouble by the creator. Now, whether that means it's another alien back at their home planet or whatever, their government, whatever you would like to call it, or they actually mean the creator of the universe, God itself. So, let's listen to this, see what this says, because I've never watched this one.
There's a group of fallen angels called the Anunnaki, and these were black angels. They descended to Earth because these are the angels that rebelled against God, some of them, and they were part of ancient Sumerian culture. This is where the fallen angels mated with humans, and it's also depicted and written in ancient Sumerian tablets. And they said that the Anunnaki manipulated human DNA. So this story sounds familiar, doesn't it? And it sounds like what? Whenever the fallen angels mated with human women. But in today's day and age, people look at the Anunnakis as extraterrestrials, and you can even find the History Channel doing videos about the Anunnaki and how they created human beings. They didn't create humans; they created a subdivision of humans. And you know, these fallen angels take credit for creating humanity in general. They take the role, or they play the role of God, and this is how you know these are fallen angels right here.
Now, we can call fallen angels if he's gonna like look at it like that, we can call fallen angels scientific government stuff that's going on right now where they're actually creating like in some countries they actually develop babies from like just human skin cell DNAs. They can clone a human baby and literally they're making them to harvest their organs in some countries. Like that's terrible. That's playing God. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Absolutely.
what did you think of what you just saw? Like, I mean, the black stuff that I mean, well, about how they're, the fallen angels are black. I don't know. I've never read that in ancient Sumerian because I'm still studying it. But and I've never heard that from Billy Carson. But it's just it was amazing to hear. So, what did you think?
Well, I kind of agree with you in a way. I mean, I don't know that I would say that they're black. I mean, 100%, I do believe that there is fallen angels. I mean, but what are fallen angels depicted by this day and age, you know? Because, I mean, you really don't know what would be depicted as a fallen angel is what I'm trying to say. Like, and
No,
he
yeah.
mentioned, yeah, and he mentioned that they were all black. I mean, that's probably very highly unlikely, but you
Well, if they
really
were aliens, right? If it was aliens, I mean, who knows, right? But
exactly.
point is, if it wasn't, it was angels. I mean, who knows? I mean, even in that aspect, who knows? But it was just crazy to hear about the immaculate conception between what Billy Carson said about Jesus and his mother, how there was an in vitro virgin fertilization that happened with her grandmother as well, that it was passed down. That, and he said that that has to do with genetic modification. That's pretty interesting because I never knew that about, Mary. You know what I'm saying? I never knew that about Jesus' mother. That her grandmother, her mother, had that thing. I never knew any of that until I started studying ancient texts about Jesus from different cultures, and I found that so amazing. But it's just like, yeah, the black thing. I'm not too sure that that's really the case. It could be because, like I said, what if it is aliens? You never know. But Mark, I love what you said. You said sins are sins, and that's how we define them through language. And I said, I believe that 100%. Sins are sins. You're absolutely right. The right and wrong.
Yep.
So, what do you think?
I mean, true there. I mean, sins are sins. We do define them through language. I mean, what's up, Brian?
Yeah.
I mean, we do
But
define them through language, and I mean, it sins are going to be sins. I mean, none of us are perfect. I mean,
no.
even if you're a Christian, good-hearted Christian, we all make mistakes. I mean, we all sin. We just got to ask for forgiveness. I mean, if we believe that, I mean, we all sin. There's nothing to that. I mean, I agree with what Mark said. I do.
Yeah. All right, let me play this video. It's another Billy Carson video, and he talks only about when he's speaking about this, he's not speaking about this in his opinion. This is from actual ancient text. So I just want everyone to know this isn't this guy's opinion. This is actually he studies this stuff for like his like work. So check this out.
All right.
That's how old the Anunnaki were when they came to this earth. They were 1 million years ahead of us already. They were already 1 million years ahead of us when they landed on the earth 450,000 years ago. For 250,000 years, they did the work themselves and left us alone. They didn't even bother with us. And then 200,000 years ago, they decided they were going to mess with us, and they started genetically tinkering us, and they created the Homo sapiens sapien, which is who we are right now. That's how old the Anunnaki
So,
were when they came to this
how
earth. They
crazy
were
is that the ancient text says that we're that old? And in our scientific knowledge, we only go back from Galepe Temple, which is like 32,000 years ago or something like that, they said, or 15 to 32,000. And it's like, I never would have thought 450,000. You know what I mean? But it makes sense because the Bible talks about how people lived so long.
I mean, they did. It did talk about that, and I'll tell you what just kind of popped in my head when it comes to like the ancient text. Um, when it comes to ancient text, who's to say that those aren't depicted by something else either? Just like how some people believe that the Bible could be, like we was talking about, could be written up by regular normal people. Um, who's to say that there is proof that the ancient texts were back then? Like, what if they weren't here? Not in recent times, but what if somebody didn't, like, stone them out here in not more
Yeah,
recent, but back in the day times? I
yeah.
mean, it's then again, it could be very well true, like he was saying there.
Now, now wait, I want to stop you for a sec. Listen to this because Mark Foster just said laugh out loud gold. And what's funny about like it sounds stupid, right? Like why would you mine gold, right? Well, the whole point in the Sumerian tablets, they say the Anunnakis mined gold and that they made us to mine gold. And the reason why they did that is because back on their planet Nibiru, they were having a problem with their like technical ozone layer where it had a huge hole in it and it was affecting their atmosphere. So what they did was they were spraying this gold into the atmosphere and they realized that it would block the radiation coming in. So they would try that. What's funny about that is that our government right now in the US is chaffing through the air like chemtrails, but it's called chaffing. And what they're doing is they're releasing very small particles of aluminum, plastic, and another substance into our atmosphere to block out radar, so that they realized back in the day that it blocks out any type of radar so that nobody could spy on the US. And that's the reason why they're doing that. And I find that so crazy because on the Weather Channel, the guy goes, "You see this? This is not a storm formation, even though it looked like it because it was on radar." But he goes, "This is the military doing chaffing." And then he explained what chaffing was. And it's so crazy that we're doing that, the same thing with our atmosphere to block the sun. But, you know, it's like they did that thousands of years ago, it says in the Sumerian tablets. It's just weird how these things line up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying the Anunnaki is right. I'm not saying that the Bible is, the only thing that's right. But what I'm just trying to say is that it's weird how all these ancient texts match up to each other.
It is. Like, I agree with you. I mean, we're not saying none, neither or for either things.
Yeah.
You mentioned that about the government and stuff. I mean, let's be honest, bro. We honestly have no idea what the government is doing that we don't even know about or we don't even catch wind of. I mean, I
Yeah.
believe 100% what you just said about like little pieces of aluminum and particles and different things like that. I mean, honestly, it's honestly hard to tell what they do behind closed doors that we have no idea about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Mark, you're totally right. I mean, gold isn't important, but to be honest, I mean, who knows if it would help an ozone layer? You know what I'm saying, or help an atmosphere of a planet? We don't know that. You know what I mean? Because we don't have to do something like that, and we use gold for a whole different reason. So I totally understand where you're coming from, and I believe exactly what you believe. So I'm like, this is crazy. It sounds stupid, but it's just like I said. It's funny that every ancient text from every major religion has something that literally matches the other, and it's crazy. Yeah, no, I know you get me, Mark. Totally. I was just talking about what you were saying because you're right. You're 100% right. And you're absolutely right. We haven't held value in gold since the 50s. Our country held value paper has been the dollar for too long. You're right, and even that's crashing, which is sad to see. I want to say
100%.
hello to Nando as well. Thank you, Nando, for tuning in. But oh, hold on.
Shiny stuff
So,
does hold value.
yep, right. Shiny stuff holds value. You're right. But it's crazy, man. It's crazy to think about that. All the ancient texts we have. The only thing that makes me upset as a Christian is that we go around and we say, "This is the only God. My God is the only God. If you don't listen to me, you're going to hell." And that part of being a Christian, I think, is wrong because you judge somebody. You're not. You don't have the right to judge somebody.
Yeah,
God
I
does.
mean, I 100% agree, and I mean 100% because I'll tell you how I think. You got people out here that are God fearing Christians, 100%. I mean, you
Yep.
got the good Christians out here, but you've also got the. I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to admit Christians are one of the most judgiest people there are,
Yeah.
depending on what the religion is and stuff, and if they're actually a Christian, because you've got these Christians out here that are actually live their life for God. They live it the way they should, but you've got
Yep.
the ones out here that are like you said. I mean, I believe there's one God, but if someone
Yep.
comes to you and says, if you worship another God, we don't like you. We don't. No, you don't go around. You don't judge people on what their beliefs are, and that's
Yeah.
100% what I believe is what somebody else's belief is. That's their business. We all face them in the end, but whatever somebody wants to believe, that's their business. I'm not going to go and judge somebody off what they think, what they believe.
Exactly. No, I feel the same way, man. Exactly. And there's no reason. Um. There's no reason not to, do that and have an open mind. You know what I mean?
You always got room for an open mind. I mean, you really do. Whether like it being in my case, I believe one God is our God, Heavenly Father above. But
Yeah.
you won't catch me go around and judge
Well,
somebody in their beliefs.
see, the crazy part about the Sumerian tablets, right? They're not saying that they are our God. They are just saying that they created us, and that's how the Genesis story was. Is that
Hmm.
okay? So the story is in the Sumerian tablets that this being of the Anunnaki, they were genetically trying to, you know, concept a baby through actually implanting it in an Anunnaki, having a birth like that, creating the first Homo sapien man. And then they created a female, and it says in the tablets that we had times where we were allowed to mate. Like they set up all these rules, and that was like our Garden of Eden. And then, like the reason why we got thrown out of the Garden of Eden in the Sumerian tablets was because Enki, I believe was his name, who was a angry type Anunnaki who reigned over us. Didn't want We were getting too loud, too annoying for him. We were, getting all this stuff. So he wanted to destroy the earth, causing the flood. And his brother came down and helped out one of these people, these Homo sapiens, that learned what their, purpose was, and like they realized they were slaves. And he told them build this ark, and like I told you in the back, they have on a stone tablet the ark dimensions, and instead of it being a boat like how the Bible has dimensions, the dimensions are actually a circle. And if you think about geometric shapes, a triangle is the strongest, form of geometric shape that you can build. It's the strongest, like I said, geometric shape. The second one is a circle, and it's weird how theirs was a circle, like I told you, it looked like a donut. And it was just like, wow, to think about it. If water hits you from any side, you're not going to technically flip. You're just going to kind of float on top of it a little bit. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah,
weird that the dimensions, we have dimensions in the Bible, but then we also have dimensions on a stone tablet. And it's like we believe the papyrus, but we don't want to even acknowledge the other stone tablets. So that's why I wanted to bring this conversation up and talk a little bit about it just for a little bit, and do a short podcast since we didn't have a guest this week.
yeah. I mean, I agree with you there. I mean, we can't really judge what's real, what's not. I mean, you don't know if them stone tablets back in the day, if they were before the Bible, or if they weren't, or if they were like man made here in the last thousands of years. You never know. It's just like the Bible was some people's beliefs. You can't really tell.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Well, I just wanted to show a couple videos and just talk about this a little bit. You have other stuff you want to discuss, man, about the paranormal? Tell me.
Yeah, sweet. Let's do it, man. I got a few stories I can tell.
All right, go ahead,
Um,
bro.
pretty interesting stories. If you want to make a point or something, just stop me while I'm talking. I mean, see what
Yeah,
you
no,
think.
no.
So you remember the first time I was ever on your podcast,
Yeah.
and that was years ago. But it was. I mentioned to you about later down the line, if I ever come back on, I'd talk to you about the train horn that I heard.
Yeah. Okay, talk about
Well,
the train thing. I'm just gonna grab my thing right here, my soda. So go ahead and keep talking about it. I'm just gonna go off screen, but I can hear you. So keep
all
talking
right,
about it. Go ahead.
all right. So anyway, it was me and a buddy of mine. We went to a place called Flindration Tunnel here in over in Salem, West Virginia, and basically the story behind it, like I've read, is it's an old train tunnel.
Yeah.
There was there was workers in it one day. A train wasn't, you know how they let you know when a train's coming through a tunnel.
Yeah.
Well, nobody let anybody know, and the train come through. And I guess there was about 3 or 4 workers there, if I'm not wrong. Um, they have the cubbies inside the train tunnels where you can get into in case of an emergency or something else. Well, a couple of them didn't make it and got drugged down the tracks tragically, and of course didn't survive. But the couple that did make it in there survived. Um, there is actually a cemetery on top of this tunnel,
Yeah.
and I've never seen it personally, but the stories back in the day was the caskets would fall through the ceiling and
Oh.
come down in the tunnel. But if you go up on top of the cemetery, it's not directly over the tunnel.
Yeah.
So, but they say you can go there at night. Uh, During the day, it don't really matter. You can go there. You can see lights. You can hear voices. You can hear a train horn. Which I'll tell you, hearing a train horn is something I've always wanted to hear. Just hearing something that would be like just so bone rattling, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we was in there one night, me and my buddy, and we was like, man, we're just talking to each other. We're like, man, how cool would it be to just hear a train whistle through this tunnel tonight?
Mm.
He's like, yeah, dude, that'd be pretty cool. So we're sitting there, we're doing a little investigation. Got the spirit box out, got the mag lights, which mag lights probably one of my favorite things that I can use equipment wise, just because it's a light they can turn on and off by twisting or with
Yep.
their energy. And
Yep.
we're sitting there, and we're just doing a little investigation. Well, we see these 2 or 3 lights at the end of the tunnel, which you got 2 side by side, and you had one down in the middle, a smaller light. And we've been there countless numbers of times, and we've always seen lights. And normally, 90% of the time, it's somebody walking through, coming from the other end. And well, this time it wasn't. What it was we seen these 2 lights, 2 big lights, one little light in the middle, and below it, it was coming towards us. And all of a sudden, like we're watching it, we're keeping an eye on it because you can't trust nobody out in the dark. Absolutely cannot.
No.
So we're keeping an eye on it. Well, this light disappears, and
Ooh.
we're like, all right, that's a little weird. We thought maybe somebody was trying to sneak up on us.
Yep.
So we're like, all right, well, we're just shining our lights down there and we're looking, we're not seeing nobody. We don't know if they're standing on the edge of the tunnel, what it is. He's
Yep.
like, dude, what if that was a train light? And I'm like, the way it looked, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Dude, I kid you not. 30 seconds later, there's no tracks around this, no train tracks around this tunnel whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nowhere that I'm aware of. And even then, as loud as it was, you wouldn't be able to tell. So 30 seconds later, the loudest horn I've ever heard in my life, train horn, blurred through that tunnel and echoed our body, like rattled
Oh
our
my
body.
God, dude.
Dude, when
Wow.
I tell you we was jumping up and down like schoolgirls, man, we was all out excited.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I wish I could find the video right now of when I did that. I was so excited one night. We were using the Signal app from Keith Weldon, and basically it runs through radio stations. Like it picks random stations to like hit, and it's like a scanning thing. And when it did it, I we were getting the K2 going off, so I told my uncle to move the the thing over to the left where it would go back to green. And I told the spirits go over to it and activate it. And all of a sudden, you hear a voice come through the box and go, were coming, and then right after they said it, the lights went crazy, and you just hear me jumping up and down and go, "Oh my god, it's fucking going off! Oh my god!" Like I was like a schoolgirl, bro, jumping up and down. So I totally get what you're talking about. Totally get it.
Absolutely, dude. It's just it's one of them experiences that, dude, you never forget for the rest of your life. It was so cool, so great, like so bone rattling. You talk about it to every person that loves the paranormal or
Yeah,
anybody you can find in general that will listen.
yeah, yeah,
I've probably told that train story to probably, I'd say at least 100 people, just random people at work or out in public that talks about the paranormal, or you strike up that random combo and you talk to somebody and you're like, oh hey, by the way, you know,
yeah, yeah. No, 100%, 100%. I completely get what you're saying. But
I was actually I was actually there today when I was at work. I after I got off work, I stopped by there and I just wanted to check it out, get a feel of it again. Well, I stopped
yeah.
by there and of course, it was flooded because we got a heck of a rainstorm last night. But we went in
Oh
there.
yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah, we went in there, and it just had that same eerie feeling it's always had, which was awesome. Because
oh yeah.
you get them nice eerie feelings when you're in a place that you just absolutely love.
I don't know if they're nice, but yeah, I mean, I'll
Well,
go
they're
with you on
nice to
that one.
us. They're
Yeah,
nice to
nice to
us.
us, I guess. Yeah, I get freaked out still, though. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I do too, 100%. Like especially
You
if I go to
know,
a place down here called Loveberry Church.
bro, I'm the only probably paranormal investigator in the world that's literally scared of the dark, but yet I still do paranormal investigating, and I'm on my own. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like at a cemetery in the dark by myself, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I want to
Right.
give a shout out real quick though to Brighton Oak. Hello, AJ. Hey, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, they're
But
them little things are.
yeah,
That's funny though that you mentioned that, dude. I see. I didn't know you were scared of the dark. Like, and it's not funny that you're scared of the dark. It's funny that you're
oh,
scared of the
it's
dark,
funny as hell.
but you love the paranormal, and you're out there in the
Yeah,
middle of the dark.
I know. I
Every
mean, don't
little
get me
creak and
wrong.
cranny.
I bring weapons. Don't worry, just in
Oh
case.
yeah,
But
you,
the point of the matter is that like, yeah, I'm scared of the dark, but yet I still do this work because I love it. You know.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if I was scared of the dark, I'd probably be the same as you. I mean, I'm not
See,
scared of the dark. I'm scared of what's in the dark.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm scared of a human jumping out at me when I'm by myself at a cemetery. Like a
Yep.
homeless person that's like wants drugs or something. I get nervous at locations because some of them are abandoned, and some homeless people during this time they'll sleep in abandoned buildings because it's so cold. And I don't blame them, and I have no issues with that. But it's like, what if this guy is crazy and tries to come up behind me or something? You know, it's like I gotta have a weapon just in case. Because paranormal investigating is dangerous just for that aspect. If you're going into locations without, you know, like a permission type place, you know, you're just going to an abandoned place. So you have to be careful. You have to be vigilant. You have to keep your head on a swivel. You know.
Absolutely, because you never know what you're going to run into. I mean, like you said, you go in these abandoned places, like could be the middle of summer, winter, it don't matter.
Yep.
You may have some squatters laying in there, and they might not be friendly squatters. They might be somebody that wants to rob you or kill you or worse.
Yep. To get the next fix. Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
just be like, I wonder if he has a dollar or two I could rob off of. Well, if I have to kill him, I'll do it anyway, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what, man? I like me being an addict at one time in my life. I know that feeling and I get it. You know what I mean? Like it's not like they're doing it because they're dicks. It's doing it because they're actually hurting physically. Like they really need to like, you know, get back to normal. And you're literally at the point where you'll do anything. I mean, I was at the point where I was willing to rob a bank just to feel better. Like that's how bad it was. Like so I totally get where these people come from experiencing it myself. But also at the same time, it's like you gotta protect yourself because you never know.
Yeah, you never know. It's really something crazy. And once again, I mean, I can't say it enough, but I'm really proud of you, dude. I
No,
really
thank you,
am.
man. Thanks. And I'm proud of you, man, for starting this. But I just wanted to come on quick today, man. We've been on for 45. I'm on about 46 minutes. I wanted to just come on, show some videos, talk a little bit. But next week, we're going to have a guest come on. So definitely check out. We'll put it during the week, we'll announce it. So please join us on Halfern, my stupid friend John talking about Robin. But anyway, for Halfway Paranormal, and I'm the co-host AJ Capasso. But you take it away, brother. This is your podcast. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, absolutely, brother. Well, I'm Dylan Robinson, Halfway Paranormal here. Another great podcast we had in the books here. And we just appreciate you guys coming out and spending time with us and talking a little bit about what we want to every time we're on. So, without further ado, AJ, you take it away. And it's been a pleasure, as always, having you on here, man.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, just everyone, please follow Halfway Paranormal Podcast on all the podcast listening platforms. We are now on there, and I upload the videos or the audio as soon as possible. You can also check out the Halfway Paranormal page on Facebook. So we're going to be setting up and streaming from there as well. So thank you so much for tuning in once again to Halfway Paranormal Podcast. And until
Also,
next time,
don't forget, tune in on your show, brother. It's Talking with the Source, but I don't remember which days it is.
I got you, man. So, Talking with the Source is Sundays at 3 p.m. Please join in. We bring on guests. We share evidence from their teams from all over the world. And we bring on very well known people such as Patty Negri, actors, stuff like that as well that are in the paranormal field. So, definitely come over and check it out. But until next time, thank you guys so much. And thank you to Parapost Network for allowing us to stream live.
Absolutely.